hour. Investigators say they found debris on the sea floor and they believe the Titan submersible imploded as it descended to the wreckage of the Titanic. It's not clear when it exactly happened, but they believe it wasn't long after the surface lost contact with the sub on Sunday.
On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time.
International search teams will remain on scene to try to find any more clues about what happened. You know, we had been following this story really since it happened on Sunday, and I think that the vast majority, if not everybody, was holding out hope that they would find this the submersible and that the passengers were still alive, and then to find out that they might have died almost instantly.
Yeah. Certainly not the ending we were all hoping for. The world certainly sat back and watched this unfold. I know one of the first things I did when I got up this morning was to check my phone to see, did they find the submersible? Did they find them? Did they find them? And then to get this news. It's heartbreaking, but as the gentleman in the soundbite said, at least it brings some type of closure for the families of those who are on board this craft. But I just wonder what the aftermath of this is going to be for this organization that does these expeditions. You know, what's next?
And, you know, they say that they found the submersible about 1,600 feet from the Titanic ship, which we did a little bit of math. It's basically just over the size of the Empire State Building. So it's not close.
But it wasn't super
far
either.
But it's not super far either. And, you know, we had been reporting on some of the different sounds that the Coast Guard was saying that they could hear some sort of banging sounds over the past couple of days. A reporter did ask that during the news conference, and they said that at this point they don't think it was actually related to it because it seems as though the implosion happened well before days in advance.
Those sounds yesterday that they were reporting on. So again, definitely a story we're going to stay on top of to get more of that information, but what we've all been waiting on because we know that clock was ticking as far as like how much oxygen may have been left. So a lot of our questions answered.
Yep, and we will continue to get more of those questions answered over the coming days. All right, let's turn to a developing story in Greensboro now. We just learned who died in an overnight shooting in Greensboro.
Investigators say a Greensboro police officer fired the deadly shot. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake is live where this all happened. Amber, what new details have you learned?
Guys, we just learned the identity of the victim in that shooting that happened just after midnight. The person's name, it's 51-year-old Graham Thomas Robertson. Now, police say an officer responded to this area of Tuscaloosa Street just after midnight in reference to a suspicious car. When they got here, the officer began searching the area. Moments later, an officer reportedly saw a man, 51-year-old Robertson, walking in the street. As the officer approached him, police say Robertson showed a gun, causing the officer to shoot at him from their patrol car. The officer began rendering aid until additional officers and EMS personnel arrived. Robertson was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died from his injuries. One neighbor told us that her son actually heard the gunshots, followed by someone knocking on their door.
He was like, "Mama, was they trying to get us?" When they was knocking on the door, I'm like, "Why would you think that?" He said, "Because after the shot, it was knocking on the door."
Now, Greensboro police said that the officer involved in this shooting was wearing a body camera, and their car also had a camera on it as well. That video is going to be used in the investigation. Again, the victim's name, 51-year-old Graham Robertson. Live in Greensboro, Amber Lake, WFMY News 2.
All right, thank you, Amber. Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Guilford County Social Services unveiled a new course of action following an investigation from the state. The announcement stems from a deadly fire last year in Greensboro. 3 children inside a home on Grimsley Street died after their mother left them alone. The State Department found several errors on the county level, including failure to maintain contact with the family.
Our intent is to make sure that we respond to, on average, the 500 CPS calls that we get on a monthly basis. The other piece is that a recognition that we screen in about 65% of those cases. What that means is that a CPS case stays open anywhere between 30 to 45 days. And there's a recognition that social workers, those unsung heroes, are carrying those cases, and on average about 530 cases are being worked diligently behind the scenes with respect and regard to families to make sure that they are able to thrive and maintain their goals and intent based on the case plans that we develop.
The county will continue to go over the new action plan with the state. After that, it will provide another update to the public before getting a final approval.
Tonight, the Guilford County School Board will consider giving teacher retention bonuses. Teacher raises were not included in the recent budget, so Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley wants to give them bonuses, possibly $1,000 each. We'll let you know what they decide. The first vaccine meant to fight the respiratory illness known as RSV crossed another hurdle today. A CDC panel approved the vaccines for adults 60 and up, but there are still a few more steps. The two vaccine companies are determining pricing and who should get the vaccine first. Experts are also trying to determine whether it'll require a booster.
Today, day number 4 of clouds, gloom, cool air, and yes, the rainfall. We've seen plenty of it today from morning until right now, but I do have a little optimism here. We're starting to get toward the tail end of this situation. I want to show you what we're looking at on radar right now. Still a couple of batches, mostly in Alamance and Caswell counties. Guilford County's been dealing with a little bit of this as well, but that rain is now lifting to the north, and we're going to see it get farther and farther away from us over the next couple of hours. Greensboro, rain is tapering off for now. Burlington, you have about 15-20 more minutes. But if you look to the south here, take a look. Randolph County, Montgomery, this is where our air is moving from today. They're going south to north. There's not much left. So right now we can see improving weather for the rest of the afternoon. And I'll tell you, there have even been some breaks in the clouds. Sunshine in southern North Carolina. What I'm showing you here might not look like much to you, but it is something I like to show occasionally. It's like an X-ray of the atmosphere. We call it the water vapor loop. It shows you how the water is moving. And notice that big swirl right out to the west of us. Right now, dry air is finally wrapping in for the first time in about 4 days. So it is possible you could even see some breaks of sun before the sun goes down about 4 hours from now. Temperatures tell the story. See how it's close to 80 in Sanford. It's still in the 60s here. That's where the sun is. We have the clouds here locally. So futurecast for the rest of the night. Stray shower, sprinkle here or there. I just don't expect much rain the rest of today. We're done with most of it. And for tomorrow, notice we're near 80. We'll see some breaks in the clouds. There will be sunshine on Friday, but there's also still going to be a couple of scattered storms. It's just going to be a different flavor. You're not going to be dealing with rain all day. It'll be the exception rather than the rule. So that's your Friday. I think Saturday is more of the same. We'll actually have a lot of sunshine for your Saturday, and we're in pretty good shape by Sunday, of course, for dry weather for a change. But the chorus, the theme of the week has been, we're done. We want this to be over with, right?
Yes.
We did need a little rain. If you are a gardener, if you talk to anybody that mows, cuts grass or anything like that, hasn't been growing much.
Yeah.
So there was a use for it, but we got it.
Sure, lots of benefits to the rain, but if you have to drive in it to go to work or maybe just be out and about, it's just been quite annoying to say the least.
It's gotten to the point where when it's not raining, it feels weird. Like last night I drove home from work around midnight, it wasn't raining, and I was like, wow, this is kind of unusual.
I think around here, you know, we live in a state usually with pretty good weather. North Carolina's weather is pretty nice. Our tolerance for cloud cover and showers and rain is pretty low. Once you get on 2 days, people are ready for it to come back. 4 days is a big stretch.
It is.
This is a long time.
I'm actually going on a flight this weekend, well, tomorrow, and I kept saying, I hope it doesn't get canceled or delayed because of thunderstorms. So I'm glad that you said it's just going to be some off and on and nothing too severe tomorrow.
I think you're in pretty good shape. And honestly, this is just so unusual because of the time of year. Keep in mind, yesterday was that first day of summer, the summer solstice. So we've had some of the coolest possible weather we've ever had in these last couple of days.
I saw a graphic that you all put together about how this is like the second coolest start to, is it June, or second coolest June on record?
Yeah, so the month of June, not over yet, of course, we have about a week left. But so far, if the month ended today, it would rank as the second coolest June on record, which is strange. In recent years, we've set a lot of warm records, tons of those, haven't set many cool weather records. So this is something we're doing this month.
All right, keep that umbrella handy. We'll be right back. Summer is here. It's a time many folks enjoy lounging by the pool with a margarita or maybe even a glass of ice cold lemonade. Unfortunately, some citrus fruits in the sun don't mix well. The next time you squeeze a lime into your drink, doctors warn you could get something called margarita burn.
Basically what it is a phytophotodermatitis. So that is a reaction of the skin to sensitizing compounds in certain fruits and vegetables. The most common one would be limes, but there's other citrus fruits that have these furocoumarins in them that react in a big way when activated by ultraviolet light.
Dr. Sarah Taylor is an associate professor of dermatology at Wake Forest School of Medicine. She says margarita burn looks like a sunburn. It can also look more severe with bumps and painful blisters.
But I usually see it like corners of the mouth on people. I see it on spring breakers. I see it people who've been on Caribbean vacations or been on a cruise, and they come back where there were a lot of cocktails that had lime in them. I see that a lot.
Dr. Taylor says other foods that can lead to margarita burn include carrots, celery, and dill. Since signs of a burn may not appear until hours after being in the sun, she says it's important to take preventative measures.
So just being mindful of if you're preparing food that has these sensitizing agents in it, or drinks, Bloody Marys, margaritas, things like that, just wash your hands, first of all, if you're preparing those things.
Dr. Taylor says not every person is as sensitive, so not everyone who gets citrus juice on their skin is in the sun is going to get it. She says margarita burn will usually heal on its own, but if there are blisters or you experience some pain, your primary care doctor or dermatologist can prescribe you a prescription cream or ointment. Now, this is actually my first time hearing about this, so I was surprised to learn how common something like this is. And it's not just when you're drinking, a drink like a margarita or a Bloody Mary. It's foods you prepare too. Guacamole, shrimp, crab boil, like things that we do all the time when we're out and about in the summertime.
We had did a story, actually Amanda Ferguson brought it to our attention a couple of years ago. She had asked about this to her dermatologist, and she told her that it is what's called a margarita burn. She took it to Tanya Rivera, to Wants to Know, thinking she obviously has to know what this is. Had no idea. I had never heard of it. It's crazy that that's something that seems so common, like you said, has just been like off the radar.
Or just
for most people.
Something people don't talk about a lot. I know the doctor I spoke with, she said she had a patient who went on a trip somewhere, I think for spring break, and they were playing some type of game where they were transferring limes in between their legs or something. And everyone in his group on that trip had burns on their legs from the lime.
It's something that they've explained it. I understand the science and all of that behind it, but it still doesn't seem real. It's just like, how is this something that's been going on? And I would imagine, so I would say, like, if this happened to me, I bet I would think that I got into like some poison ivy.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Which sometimes you get a rash in the summertime, you don't really know where it's from. It's like, oh, maybe I picked the wrong weed or something. But this is enlightening and weird. And like you said, if I'm cooking or something in the kitchen with citrus and I go outside for a while, I might kind of take this into account.
Make sure you're washing those hands. 'Cause I know you like to make the guacamole.
I do, and that involves limes. Yes.
Right. And so Amanda had like streaks on her leg of where she had this burn, and I think that she ended up realizing that she had like lime juice on her fingers, and she thinks that she might have just rubbed it on
and touched
her skin while she was out at a pool or something. So
if you get a garnish, you might squeeze it into your drink,
right?
And then that juice could go anywhere.
This is real, folks. So
Corona.
Keep this in mind.
We need to come up with like a sunscreen for margarita burn.
I'm gonna sue limes if I get this. Big citrus.
We'll be right back.
When is it all gonna be over? I know we're all in the mood to get rid of the rain. And I'm outside now, I'll tell you, it's not raining in Greensboro. Actually, the sky is getting a little bit brighter. You could, in fact, see some peaks of sunshine over the next little bit before the day is all said and done. This is a time lapse, though, as we look back at the day that's been from morning to midday and into the afternoon. There sure have been several rounds of rain, kind of as we were telling you about today, that we would see more of that rainfall in our area. The good news, though, is that pesky low pressure area that's been spinning so much off to our west, remember, it has been stuck. That's why we've been stuck with this, is it wasn't really moving at all. Now it's finally starting to take some steps that will move it to the north, go up the coast, and get rid of the constant flow of moisture into our area. So right now, here's the situation. Our last batches of kind of constant, steady rain, they're moving out right now. That's happening currently. We do still see some scattered showers across South Carolina and Georgia, and that's kind of what I think we will have by tomorrow and even a little bit into Saturday. Nothing we can't handle with an occasional shower here or there, but the steady stuff is pretty much winding down. Eastern North Carolina's had a tough day. Lots of reports of wind damage, actually, especially around the Kinston area. They might be investigating there for a possible tornado touchdown. Our weather's been much calmer, just wet here and cool in the 60s. We will see warmer weather for tomorrow because the sun will be coming out. We'll finally get some sunshine for your Friday, but with that, there will be an occasional shower or storm. Same idea for Saturday. Mostly dry, warmer, but a pop-up shower or storm is possible as you head into your Saturday afternoon. So let's recap before you going into tomorrow. Still some clouds around in the morning, but by the afternoon, you'll see some sun. And with that, maybe a scattered storm here or there. No big deal. After that, Saturday, yes, there's sunshine. That's a good thing. We'll be in the 80s, but a scattered storm can't be ruled out for the afternoon. Sunday's a good day to get outside with a high of 85.
Would you eat meat grown in a lab? How about if it tasted and looked just like the real thing? Well, pretty soon, lab-grown meat could head to a restaurant table and eventually supermarket shelves. The Agricultural Department recently approved 2 California companies to sell chicken grown in steel tanks using cells from animals or a special storage bank.
So cultivated meat, put really simply, is real meat that is grown from animal cells. So if you imagine the meat that we have loved and eaten for tens of thousands of years, the meat that we cultivate is actually biologically the same, but it's made in a whole new way. Ultimately, the cells do what they do. They like to double, they like to grow, and then ultimately they become meat. So after 7 to 14 days or a little longer, depending on what we're making, we harvest the cells. And then we can make it into any meat product that you love. So it could be a chicken fillet, it could be a hamburger, a hot dog, it could be pretty much anything that you can think of.
Interesting. The cell cultivated chicken will be available at a restaurant in San Francisco and another one in Washington, D.C. And if all goes well, the next step could be grocery stores. So this story got a lot of folks talking on my Facebook page. I asked you about your thoughts about lab-grown meat. Here's what you had to say. Francis Dixon says, was just thinking it's time to stop eating meat. Cassandra Mullins wrote, I don't want it, but I see meat in the grocery store now. Some don't look right, just like a chicken leg looks like a turkey leg. Please don't buy it. George Long Jr., I'm trying to stop eating meat anyway. This is really going to stop me from eating it. Vanessa A says, to me, you are messing with nature. I will not be trying this. Roddy Lee, I'm going hunting. So got close to 300 comments on this post, and I don't think I found any of them that said, you know, I'm all about this. Everybody was like, no, thank you.
Well, let me be the first.
Okay.
I'm all about it. Sign me up. I will try anything once. I'm sure that there are going to be guidelines in place to make sure it's, you know, like you're not going to die from it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. And you know what? You know what wouldn't surprise me is if groups like PETA would be behind this, because maybe if you could get to the point where you're not going to be killing as many animals down the road, obviously, maybe they would be for it.
That's a good point to make. It also makes me think, how many times have we gone through a drive-through where you get chicken nuggets or something and it might not even all be chicken in there, right?
Yeah, it's
I'm sure
true.
we don't always know what's in the things we consume.
I thought this story was going to be about, you know, stuff that looks like meat but isn't meat.
Oh, like a
you know, like
plant-based
the Beyonds, the
and
plant-based
all
stuff.
that.
But this is not what they're doing. They're trying to, I guess, get meat in a different way than livestock.
Yeah.
Right? And it might come to a point, you know, down the line where, you know, the climate does this or whatever, or you're harvesting too much off the land, where you get a shortage.
Yeah.
This could be a way to be sustainable in the future without other things. It also sounds very expensive.
It does. I mean,
It sounds to me like a $30 hamburger, and I'm not about that.
I wonder when you go out to eat and you open the menu if it's going to be like sell meat or real meat, like if they're going to have it listed on there which one it is. You
That's
think so?
kind of weird, don't you?
I mean, people should know. Don't you think people should have the right to
Yeah.
know if it's like natural meat or
Well,
cell-grown
sure, yeah.
meat?
I certainly would still trend toward what I know and what I'm comfortable
Yeah.
with.
For
Nice,
me,
nice
if,
little hamburger.
if it tastes good, I'm gonna eat it.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And you know it's gonna taste like they're
Yeah.
gonna make it. Like, I mean, you can make anything taste good these days.
Yeah,
But it's
pretty
about
much.
the price, too.
If you put it in front of
That's
somebody and it looks like the real thing, they're gonna eat it. That's for sure. All right, folks. We'll be right back.
Happy dinner.
Mic check, Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3.
Hey, welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman. That's Chad Silber, and that's Tim Buckley.
Hello.
Nice to see you today. And again, like we have for the past several days, rain on the sky cam.
Yes, voila.
Nice rain.
It
I'm
is
ready
still
for
here.
sunshine.
At least we have a sense of humor. We're just laughing
Right.
about it this point.
Yeah.
Day number 4, if you're counting, of clouds and showers. So we're getting our liquid sunshine again.
I would rather take day number 4 of rain than day number 4 of that annoying wildfire smoke.
Yeah, that's a good debate. I think you could
Yeah.
debate that probably,
Yeah,
right?
because
And
that
this
was
is healthier by a lot.
It was canceling flights. It was preventing people from having activities outside that you could probably still have even with rain. So this
I will
is
say
better.
one thing. It did not rain a drop over your weekend. And now it's been raining during the week, which is a switcheroo
You know what?
compared to where we were over the last couple of months.
That is true.
That's a great point.
Take your pick.
All right, take it away, Tim.
All right, let's talk about all this rain during your work week. And I think I would take this rather than a wet weekend, personally. We are still seeing some drops on our sky camera. Up in Greensboro, we've had a couple of showers, but there have also been some breaks in the clouds, a little sunshine from time to time. When I queued up this graphic in High Point, there was a little sun shining on Main Street. Not really so much anymore, but that's the idea. We're going to start a little bit of a drying process through the rest of the day today, and also especially into tomorrow and into Saturday. Right now, all those steady areas of rainfall are really starting to push out of our area. So most of you are not having steady rain outside your window right now. You sure are, though, if you're in Caswell County from Yanceyville down to northern Alamance. It's really raining a lot. This is steady downpour style rain right from Yanceyville all the way up to the Virginia border. You're going to be getting this for the next 30 minutes or so. Elsewhere, notice things are pretty dry for us. Now, to the south, this is kind of what we're looking at for tomorrow and also for Saturday. Tiny little scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm in spots, and breaks of sunshine. So when it's not raining the next couple of days, there should be some sunshine in the sky instead. We still have that cool air in place. Temperatures are currently in the 60s, which is unbelievable for the month of June. Second day in a row for us, by the way, also. Looking at Futurecast for tomorrow and into Saturday, especially, the change that you're going to notice is this. You see those blank spots on the map? That means no clouds. There will be sunshine out there as well. Temperatures are warming up quite a bit. We'll be right around 80 for tomorrow afternoon. Still a chance of a scattered storm or two. And as we go into the weekend, well, mostly dry. Saturday, we'll have a couple pop-up storms by the afternoon, so keep that in mind for outdoor plans. But the chunk of the day is dry. Sunday will be dry with a high of 85.
Boy, it's certainly hard to complain about the weather we have here when we've seen lots of areas of the deep south dealing with deadly tornadoes and monstrous hail.
For 7 straight days, families battled severe conditions, devastating communities, and pushing first responders to the brink.
Another community ripped apart by a dangerous tornado. More than 60 have touched down in the past week.
The damage is very extensive. I mean, it came straight through Matador.
The massive twister slammed the small town of Matador, Texas Wednesday, flattening homes and tearing roofs from buildings. Here you can see inside a restaurant with tables and booths still intact. Nearby, room after room of this motel is now visible from above.
There's somebody at this house over here motioning us to come over.
In other parts of the state, a record 97-mile-per-hour wind gusts hit Bush Airport in Houston. But the danger didn't end there. Severe weather stretched to Colorado, sending people running for cover at the Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater. Take a look at these golf ball-sized hail raining down on fans at a concert. People had large bumps on their head, arms, and back. Nearly 100 people injured. The concert is postponed to a later date.
Wow, just being out there and just getting hit on by the hail, that doesn't look like fun at all.
And for days.
And
I
for
mean,
days,
you know,
yeah.
it's hard to complain about what we're dealing with here when you say that for as long and even longer, they've been dealing with severe weather.
Yeah.
So the theme of the weather across the country right now is stuck. So for us, being stuck means, okay, well, we've been cool for several days. We've had rain for several days. The weather systems just aren't really moving right now. So there's not a lot of momentum to push things along. So in Colorado or in Texas, they've had very hot weather and they've had stormy weather at the ends of their days. So until something changes, which I'm expecting tomorrow and Saturday, things to get moving along a little bit, this is kind of what you're stuck with.
Okay.
So until we move things along, that same type of weather has been happening in the same places over and over again.
But we're over the hump now, so it's
We are too, but it also makes you a little thankful, doesn't it, right? Like for us, oh man, this is so annoying. That's not annoying stuff.
No.
What they've been dealing with has
Absolutely
been damaging or severe, or we didn't even mention how incredibly crazy hot it's been in places like Central Texas for days on end. They've been feeling like 115 for like a week. San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Brownsville, just incredible heat that even they aren't really used to. So for us to be a little cool, a little cloudy, a little rainy, could be worse.
Hopefully those models will start to change so everybody can, get something new.
And like I said, I think the train's going to leave the station this
Yeah.
weekend. I think things are going to chug along more efficiently by Saturday. So we'll have sun.
All right, Tim, thanks. All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, the 5 people aboard a vessel headed to the Titanic shipwreck are believed to be dead. The Coast Guard just gave us an update just over an hour ago. These were the 5 people on board. Investigators say they found debris on the sea floor, and they believe the Titan submersible imploded as it descended to the wreckage of the Titanic. It's not clear when it exactly happened, but they believe it wasn't long after the surface lost contact with the sub on Sunday. We now know the identity of a man killed in an overnight shooting. Investigators say a Greensboro police officer responded to a call about a suspicious vehicle on Tuscaloosa Street just before midnight. The officer told investigators when they got there, 51-year-old Graham Robertson walked up to them and showed a gun. Well, that's when the officer fired a shot from their patrol car, hitting Robertson, who died at the hospital. The officer is on administrative duty, and the SBI is investigating, which is standard. Tonight, the Guilford County School Board will consider giving teacher retention bonuses. Teacher raises were not included in the recent budget, so Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley wants to give them bonuses, possibly up to $1,000.
Nothing has changed about the current teacher supplement. We just did not get the additional increase. So we're thinking about other ways we can provide a bonus for teachers, but an additional teacher supplement was not included in the county's recommended budget, mostly because we're trying to address that classified frontline worker pay. But we're considering what we can do feasibly with other fiscal resources to make sure that we continue to invest in our teachers. We want to be competitive across the state.
The school board meeting starts at 5, and we will keep you in the loop.
It's a huge night for Wake Forest athletics. In just a few hours, the Demon Deacons will take on LSU in a win or go home game out in Omaha. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey talked to fans in Omaha who are ready for tonight's action.
Yeah, for the third time in 4 days, Wake Forest and LSU will meet on the diamond at the College World Series. But this time, the winner advances to this weekend's championship series against the University of Florida, and the loser is headed back to campus as their 2023 season comes to a close. And today, we caught up with some Wake fans who are in Omaha and want to end the spur-of-the-moment family vacation with another Deacs win.
We went to a game in the first weekend, like in February, the first weekend in college baseball, and I could feel then even the energy the team had then.
Fast forward 4 months later, and the Martin family is once again in the stands to watch Wake Forest play. But this time, they're in Omaha.
Actually extended. We were supposed to leave today, but there was no leaving today after last night's game.
We got to see tonight now.
Nope. We had to stay for tonight's game, so we got to get that W.
Tonight's game is set to feature 2 of the best pitchers in all of college baseball, LSU's Paul Skeens and Wake's Rhett Lauder. Both are expected to be drafted within the first 10 picks of next month's Major League Baseball draft.
Number 1 versus the old number 1, so it doesn't get any better than this. And the environment's going to be crazy. I feel like even one run could put you in the game tonight.
Yeah. And I haven't gotten to see Lauder pitch. You guys got to see him, I think, but I haven't got to see him pitch. So that'll be fun for me to get to see him pitch here toward the end of his time at Wake.
LSU by far has the largest fan base in Omaha. Well, that's because their undergraduate enrollment is just about 3 times that of Wake Forest. But that doesn't mean the support isn't there.
You kind of get the feel that some of the maybe locals start pulling for a team.
Yeah.
I kind of got the feeling of that last night.
Yeah.
Especially when we went up early. And but hopefully that happens again tonight.
And the Martins told me, unfortunately, no matter if Wake wins or loses tonight, they're headed back home tomorrow morning.
That just made me
We'll
smile.
see. We'll see, right? They extended it last time.
Look, they're out of time. So the young man, he's got a school trip. They're going to Japan for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So he can't miss it.
So
He's got to go. He's got to pack.
So maybe he'll fly back, but the parents will stay.
You know, I would hope they would get back out there and enjoy the game if the Deacs win tonight. But it's just a great trip. They didn't really know this was going to happen. They saw the weekend's action. They said, hey, we got a couple days. Let's make it happen. So they got out there, got on a plane, got to Omaha. And I mean, what a ride it's been so far.
You've been keeping up with the last 2 games between these 2 teams, really just a best of 3 series at this point. Do you think one team has an advantage over the other?
Tonight?
Yeah.
No one can tell. These are the 2 best pitchers in all of college baseball that are going to play tonight. So, like the young man said, it's only going to take 1 or 2 runs, and that should do it. I mean, because these guys are unbelievably talented, both first-team All-Americans. It's been a matchup that we've been waiting for and hoping to see this entire time, and now it's here, and I can't wait. I'm excited.
So we can expect this one to be a nail biter.
Yeah, it's going to be nail biter. It's going to be low scoring, probably not a lot of offense, but it's going to be high level baseball.
So all those Wake fans out there, since Wake is a third the population of LSU, you got to be extra loud tonight.
Extra loud. So if you're there rooting on our Deacs, we need you to make sure you get loud and you get proud. No matter what happens, whatever the turnout is, the Deacs need you.
Yeah, for sure.
Drink a lot of tea tonight.
LSU, they said they've got over 20,000 fans in the stadium.
Ooh.
So it's rocking.
All right, fingers crossed.
Now, we're going to go over to some NBA news where we got some huge trade news just in. CBS Sports confirms that the Washington Wizards are finalizing a deal that would send Winston-Salem native Chris Paul to the Golden State Warriors. Paul's stop in Washington was very brief. The team literally just finalized the trade with the Phoenix Suns over the weekend, sending the 12-time All-Star to the nation's capital. Now, after just 3 days, Paul will join the Warriors as he continues his quest for his first NBA championship, teaming up with another North Carolina native, Steph Curry, in the process.
Well, you guys know this isn't really my ministry, so explain to me what this actually means.
Okay, so Chris, he's played the last couple seasons with the Suns. They've been close. They made it to the finals one year. They made it to the conference finals. And then this year, they didn't really have a great run. So he was traded to the Wizards. The Wizards are kind of blowing everything up. They're getting rid of all their best players. They sent Brad Beal to Phoenix. So he was there with the Wizards for a couple days. And now the Warriors have come and saved him from purgatory because the Wizards aren't going to win. They probably win 20 games out of 62 this year.
Ooh.
So.
And I know, obviously this is a business, and Chris Paul knows it as well as anyone else, that you go to a team and because you have to go there and you have to try to win. Now, do you think, he's probably happy about this, right?
There's no way he's not happy about going from Washington, a team that, like I said, is not going to win more than 30 games next year, regardless of who they put on their roster, to go into a perennial Western Conference favorite once again. Like you said, still looking for that first ring. There's no better place to try to make that happen than Golden State. They've had a run since the mid-2010s. And they're kind of always in the mix. So it's great to see Chris get another shot. He's running out of shots at this time.
Yeah.
The time's calling for him to retire soon. But this is a great landing spot, and hopefully they can get it done.
Sounds good. All right.
Great job, Lauren.
Thanks. I feel like a pro now.
There you go.
We'll be right back. The Federal Trade Commission is suing Amazon, accusing the company of deceptive tactics with customers.
The agency claims the retailer duped people into signing up for its Prime service and then made it difficult to cancel. Take a look.
Prime members get holiday deals before anyone else.
Prime is a major moneymaker for Amazon. It has more than 200 million subscribers worldwide who pay fees generating $25 billion in annual revenue. But now the Federal Trade Commission is targeting the company for allegedly using what it calls manipulative, coercive, or deceptive practices known as dark patterns to gain subscribers and to keep them. In a heavily redacted filing, the FTC alleges Amazon tricked and trapped non-Prime customers into unknowingly signing up for the service during the checkout process by, quote, presenting them with a prominent button to enroll in Prime and a comparatively inconspicuous link to decline. It also claims Amazon made it very difficult to navigate canceling a Prime subscription. With a 4-page, 6-click, and 15-option process, the FTC says Amazon called Iliad after the nearly 16,000-line ancient poem.
Prime Day is almost here.
The filing also alleges Amazon executives knew about the complex and confusing process and neglected to change it until April of this year. Former FTC Chair William Kovacic.
It's certainly the FTC's perception that Amazon is hardly alone in this, which again is why I think they're singling out the company as an exemplar here, as a focal point for a major lawsuit that is seeking to change behavior across the industry.
In a statement, Amazon called the FTC's claims false on the facts and the law, saying, by design, we make it clear and simple for customers to both sign up for or cancel their Prime membership.
Before you get started on your Prime Day festivities, verify your Prime membership. In the main menu of
Okay, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. You know the drill, right? Sit, give me your paw, come. These are all classic commands that warrant a treat. And sometimes our dogs get treats because they're just so cute, right? We just can't stand it. But how many treats are too many treats?
Because treats are like cookies, and for every treat we give them, it's like us eating a cookie. So if we give them 10 treats in a day, it's like us eating 10 cookies, and we would be packing on the extra weight as well.
I'm going to confess right here, I give my dog too many treats.
Is it like 10 treats a day, like she said?
Yeah, but this is what we've done. This is what we've done to make amends. We've instead cut back on the actual dog treats and given her carrots or blueberries instead because she said, just like humans, dogs need more veggies than they do need cookies.
And how does Kona respond to?
Loves
That's what I was
them.
gonna say. Does she
Carrots.
want
Loves
the
them.
carrots and blueberries?
Yes, loves it because the carrots are really crunchy, so she's like.
So then why don't you change all the way to carrots and blueberries?
Because it's not
you're not a bad mom.
convenient. It's not as convenient, right? You know, and plus we got the little mini ones too to help out. And you know, fresh carrots. I mean, sometimes you don't have fresh carrots all in the house, do you? I don't know. And you know, sometimes we eat simply, right? Because we're watching TV. Do you do that? You grab a snack when you sit down to eat?
Mindless. Last night I had some Dots cinnamon sugar pretzels, and I probably ate half the bag.
They're so good.
Because they're so good. I'm just like watching This Is Us and just kept eating.
Do you know what I do sometimes?
Got the tissues here, the pretzels.
Yeah.
If I know that it's really like indulgent and I know that I'm really gonna regret eating it, I'll pause whatever I'm doing and just enjoy the moment.
Savor it.
Savor of the eating.
Oh, that's smart. All right. Well, most of the time, like you said, we mindless eat, right? And when we mindless eat, we probably give our dogs mindless eating snacks as well, right? Because they're looking at us while we're eating.
With those puppy eyes.
Which means that we are giving them our bad habit, right? And causing them a problem. Listen to what the vet says.
But the good thing about pets is that they can't raid the pantry at night because they can't go and freely eat as much as they want. We can really help them lose the weight by helping them in that way.
They don't have opposable thumbs to open up the chip
Is
bag
that
for
why?
the box.
I'm sure if they could. They would.
They would. That's so true. So our dog, just being 5 pounds overweight, made it cause her to be accident prone and injury prone. Like she had an ACL surgery. So that really costs you, friends. Like the treats really do cost you.
Yeah.
So coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to talk about one of the foods from your backyard barbecue.
Okay.
That is an absolute no. Absolute no for the dog.
Really?
Any thoughts?
There's so many no's when it comes to animals. It
I
seems like
know.
most things are a no.
Rib bones, maybe?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
can only think of chocolate.
I bet you're on the
Which everyone has at a barbecue.
Oh, chocolate, yes.
The good barbecues have it, right?
All right.
All right, Tim, we
My
gotta talk
turn?
about weather, yeah.
Okay. They told me if I do a good job with this weather, I get a celery stick. So let's try. We do have some rain, of course, that we've seen throughout the day today. Rain totals not super impressive today, usually around 1/3 of an inch to 1/2 inch in some spots, a little heavier elsewhere. Burlington, you've been over 1 inch for today. A lot of you might be wondering, okay, how much rain have I gotten since Monday? And my answer for you is, I don't know, because I don't know exactly where you live, but it really has ranged from as much as 6 inches in some spots to 2 inches elsewhere. Either way, we've all gotten a soaking this week for sure. Doug sent me this photo, his rain gauge overflowing at about 5 inches. The good news is that as we go into tomorrow, the sun is coming back. We will still have a couple scattered storms. We'll talk more about this weekend forecast on WFMY News 2 at 5.
Nine, 10, 11 to the 12, 13 to the...
Hello, mic check for you. It's Thursday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4. Hi there, Lauren is singing Snoop. Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
This area of Tuscaloosa Street is where police say just after midnight,
You've seen us cover several stories lately about criminals breaking into car dealerships to steal cars. In a span of seconds, they smash through the doors or windows, find the lockbox of keys, and they are off before the security alarms are able to dispatch police. There have been multiple instances in the Triad, along with just about everywhere else. It's a brazen act of violence that seems to be spreading. And it's not just cars. We've all seen the smash and grab robberies that have occurred all over the country. Some refer to them as flash mob robberies. Criminals in packs going into jewelry stores and other high-end shops, breaking glass cases and taking off with as much as they can. It's disgusting to think most of the time they get away with it and will likely do it again. I find it alarming how bold criminals are getting, like they know they're not going to get caught. My only hope is that these crimes will catch up with them. You can only break the law and cause chaos for so long before you're eventually caught. Let's hope it's sooner rather than later. That's just my 2 cents. And your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
A Greensboro police officer is on administrative duty after a deadly officer-involved shooting.
Investigators say the officer shot a man while